Alrighty, so welcome back again. Been a little bit, but we're rolling back again, you know, school and all that stuff, so it just is what it is. But I'm making this video for primarily everybody, kinda, because I know a lot of y'all probably want to hear my opinions on the upcoming characters, and a lot of y'all probably also want to know what's happening with the upcoming characters, because I know not a lot of y'all are in the Discord, yada yada blah blah blah. So I'm making this for y'all. Make sure to join the Discord server. If you can join mine, go ahead and just join that. You know, link is always in the description down below. And I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into this now. So yes, so pretty much in my Discord server, I hold a poll, and I was like, which one do y'all want? Which one of the two new survivors y'all want me to talk about first? And y'all wanted me to talk about Dhanya first. Okay. I don't know if that's how you say her name or not. All I gotta say is that I'm gonna be calling her Dhanya the whole video. I'm not a names person. I'm not good with names. So if that's not how you say her name, then y'all can correct me in the comments or whatever. Somebody can correct me in the server. I don't care. Somebody can correct me there, but that's what I'm gonna be calling her. Anyways, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So her perk, I'm gonna throw it up here right now. Boom. Okay, so her perk, to pretty much summarize it, is she is going to be getting, she's going to have two gens at the start of the match highlighted to her that are the closest, the two closest gens to each other highlighted to her. And she will get a +4 repair speed bonus on those gens and be completely silent when she's working on those gens. Okay? So whenever she does complete one of those two gens, she will get 20 seconds of undetectability. Okay? So, at the end of all that, once all gens are done and the exit gates open, she will gain a burst of speed, and also instantly revive herself if she's down. So she'll get both of those things. Primarily, it's 90% of the time, it's probably just gonna be the speed boost that you end up getting, because I doubt some of y'all be down, but hey. So, yeah. That's pretty much the summary of her perk. Let's talk about her stats since we have her stats. She will be having 6 speed, 5 stamina, 6 composure, 4 stealth, 7 repair, and 3 healing. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and just get into it. I'm gonna explain how I feel about these characters, and what I think about them. And for the most part, her perk seems kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a little bit better, especially since she's gonna be a gen rusher. But it's kind of sad to see that this is kind of where her perk has, you know, come down to. Now, let me go ahead and explain let's go ahead and explain the flaws a little bit of this perk. So I'm gonna explain the flaws of the perk. Then I'll kind of get in to like how she's probably supposed to be played, and then her spot in the meta. So right now, what I gotta say is that her biggest flaw is that her perk is completely tied to 2 gens and then completely tied to the late game. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people praise this perk, and I'm not gonna lie, the perk isn't the worst perk in the game, but with the amount of praise that she's getting praised for with this perk, you would think that this girl is one of the best survivors in the game. This girl should not be getting as praise. The perk shouldn't be getting as praised as much as it is. I really feel like people are just blinded by the happiness right now, because, you know, they all want to hear the perk, they're all expecting the perk, yada yada blah blah. They're just blinded by the happiness to actually finally get the perk revealed, to not realize how it really does not fit as well as people are making it out to be. So, the biggest flaw already, aside from the 2 that is already tied to 2 gens, she is dead weight once her 2 gens are done. Yes, she is. She brings, like, only other thing that she brings to the table is 7 repair. So she is her composure ain't that good, her stealth ain't that good, and her chase stats are not chase stats at all. So the only thing she's bringing to the table after that is 7 repair. And all I gotta say is that she's really useless after that. Like, there's, like, having a survivor like her, she's not bringing enough value to the team at all. For the most part, once her two gens are done. And then the next thing that is also going to be really annoying about her is that if she doesn't complete those gens, she definitely got completely zero value out of anything. She got completely zero value. She got no undetectability. She didn't even get the speed boost. She got nothing. And that's my biggest problem with her is that this character seems to rely too much on communication. And for anyone who doesn't know, this game, its communication is kind of bad. People don't communicate. I feel like this survivor, actually, I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that in a second. But for the most part, I genuinely just feel like she's tied too much to the communication of this game, and communication just isn't the biggest thing at all. Like, she's gonna really suck in random lobbies and just randoms because of that simple behalf. Like, it's tied too much to that. It's tied way too much to requiring people to actually be on their A game and be smart enough. For example, now let me talk about what I was finna talk about. She could be actually really good in commutative lobbies. Like, people who are actually communicating in these lobbies, I feel like she could genuinely be extremely good. And I say this because for first off, you got your 2 designated gens already that you can get to. You're designated to these gens already, so you can inform the people which gens you'll be working on so they know not to work on those gens or to stay away from them or whatever it needs to be done. Then on top of that, you also can communicate the late game. For example, when the last gen's happening, you can go and take chase as the survivor. You can at least try and go take chase as the survivor since you're already pretty that. But mind you, the problem with this is that one, this also is tied to you not have going down at all previously in the match. So you could not have gone down previously on the match, or at least have an Iris pot with you. But if you don't meet those requirements, then you already are not getting the whole other half of your ability that this could be useful for. But taking the chase and then getting closer and closer to the exit gates as the gens get closer and closer to being done, you could just take the down, or you could take the speed boost and get out of there, and you allowed your team to finish the gens because you took chase. The problem with this is one, she obviously doesn't have chase stats, so you can't really do the perk as well as like that. But honestly, I kind of feel like that's a good spot for. It's kind of good for the perk, but she doesn't have chase stats, so she can't do that. Then also on top of that, this also requires the killer to be dumb enough to actually chase you late game instead of going ahead and pursuing the gens. Especially if the killer is thinking like how I was just thinking right there. They really aren't gonna chase you because you'll just get right back up when those gens are done. So then it's just like, why even bother, you know? So yeah, I already there's already big flaws out of this. And so let's go ahead and get into the other flaw that I also saw some people trying to say. So some people were trying to say that this survivor is going to be annoying for the killer, which is absolutely completely false. Do not let these people spread lies into your head, guys. Maybe the first week, but I'll get into that too later. But she's not going to be that hard to find because first off, if you remember the first half of the perk, it's going to be the 2 closest gens to each other. This game is not like Dead by Daylight. The gen placements always stay the same unless the developers make a map update and change the location of a generator. Other than that, these gens will always stay the same 2 gens. So if you get what I'm getting at, each map is going to have their designated 2 gens that are always going to be highlighted to her. So once the killer has figured that out, they'll know which gens to get. And mind you, she can't even survive in chase. So if anything, the killer could go knock her out as soon as possible. So yes, that's pretty much what the killer can do. Again, guys, on paper, this perk seems really good, but and if you're throwing this into a reality sense, and you're actually coming back to reality, snapping back into it, you'll realize that this perk, for the most part, just isn't rocking all that, right? It's not. Now, again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Take it all with a grain of salt because we haven't gotten to play with it. So I'm not standing 10 toes down on my arguments yet until after I play her. Or after a couple of weeks of her being out, and I'll get into why I say that. After a couple weeks of her being out, then I'll see where I still stand on my opinions. But I say after a couple weeks because here's what I wanted to get into. I feel like this Survivor is going to be strong the first 2 weeks, but after that, she's gonna start losing her value and people are gonna probably start asking for buffs. And I say this because her perk will be stronger because the killer isn't really fully aware of what she can do yet, doesn't know what gens are always highlighted to her. But once they've played around with her a little bit and then played enough against her, they'll start realizing which 2 gens are hers. And then they'll know which gens to actually instantly go pursue, to be honest, because a good portion of the time, she will instantly pursue those. Now, you can say, oh, well, I just won't go after those gens at all until, like, the later half of the game, which is probably the way you want to play her, but the thing is you are still dead weight walking around for your team the whole time. Like, you're like not valuing your team in any way, which is typically why a lot of people tend to say some chase-orientated survivors are some of the weaker survivors, is because most of the time they tend to have pretty selfish perks, so they don't really provide anything to the team at all. And as of right now, it just kind of seems like that's where she stands. Is like she's dead weight until once both those gens are done, but like she doesn't really do that much for the most part. So anyways, aside from that, let me go ahead and get into how I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be played. She's most likely supposed to be played as what she was probably geared to try to be played as was an anti-gen lock. But she sucks at it. I'm not gonna lie. Crosby and Anais do it much better than her. So this is where I'm pretty sure that her main purpose was most likely to be a support anti-gen locker. She is made to support the other 2 anti-gen lockers that we have in this game, because her solo anti-gen lock is really bad and just won't work at all. It is incredibly bad. Now, also, there are, so it is bad, but for the most part, I'll say that as long as you're using her with the 2, with Anais or Crosby, I feel like she can get decent enough value. Decent enough value. But as a solo anti-gen locker, no, just won't happen. It just won't work out, guys. I'm telling you, she's really easy to counter. So yeah. Now, getting into the meta stance, I don't feel like she's gonna be like fitting in anywhere in the meta at all. Like, she's not changing really anything when it comes to this game at all. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and this is coming from a Gen Rusher main. As of right now, it seems like on paper, this is the worst Gen Rushing perk in the game. Yes, I'm sorry to say it, but like even the subcategory Gen Rushers do it better than her. She is not gonna be that. Taylor is better than her, guys. Taylor is better than her. I would rather have a Taylor on the team over her. She's not doing enough. Like, she doesn't do a whole bunch, especially with how easy it's going to be to get her out. So then her value is just stripped away altogether. Yeah, no, she's not like helping out the team enough. Taylor is honestly better. And let me also explain this. There is no reason to pick any other Gen Rusher over her. There genuinely isn't. Now, like, I'm not saying this, like, again, you can play who you want. Play who you want. At the end of the day, this game is playing who you want to play. It's not always focusing exactly on the meta. But it's more or less just focusing on the characters you like and what perk you want to play, yada yada, blah blah blah. But genuinely, every other Gen Rusher does it better. She only gets the 11 repair boost on her 2 specific gens. Why do that when you can pick someone like Sarah? Why do that when you can pick someone like Cora or Gab? Like, I don't think people are understanding that these two, like, these survivors all have like a point, like just like for example, Cora, Gab, and Sarah all have just a 1 less smarts than them, but they get it on every single generator. So, but she only gets it on 2. And then the 20 seconds of undetectability, I mean, it's pretty situational when that will come in handy. Like, real situational when that'll come in handy. All I gotta say is that for the most part, there's really nothing more that she can do. I feel like her only purpose was to support the anti-gen lockers, which I feel like she definitely will do it best, primarily because she's the only one made to do that. Because she's the only one with that ability to do so. So if there isn't any Yeast or a Crosby on the field, go ahead and pop and play her out. But for the most part, from what I'm like grasping on the paper half, is that this perk just really is not going to work out. I'm sorry, but it really isn't. I honestly, in my opinion, I again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, guys, because we still gotta test it out. I'll change my opinions after that, but from this paper standpoint, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe change her from being a gen rusher and make her an undetectable instead. And keep everything the perk has. So, because she'll be an undetectable gen rusher. Keep everything she has, but whenever a gen is completed, she'll get undetectability. You can tweak the times how you want, but anytime a gen is completed, she gets some undetectability or something. Like, she gets some number or something. That's personally what I feel. I feel like do that instead, and she'll probably be a little bit better. But who knows? Y'all can say what y'all want about her. I mean, I'm still gonna play her regardless, because again, Gen Rusher main, I also want to like kind of learn and see it. But as of right now, it generally just seems like, why play her when every other Gen Rusher in this game exists and actually constantly brings value when she doesn't do much of anything, you know? So yeah, that's my little 15-minute rant on her. But that's enough. Let's go ahead and get into Maleficent. Okay, so I'm gonna plop it on the screen for you guys right now. Boom. Okay, so I don't know how to summarize this, so I'm gonna read it out for you guys. Maleficent can capture down survivors by interacting with them for 2.5 seconds, as long as she has sight of them within 82 studs. Once the survivor is captured, they will begin being revived 50% slower than Maleficent's revive speed, and she no longer needs line of sight or to be in range. Maleficent will also reveal her location to the survivor once they are up, regardless of if she finished the revive or not. Okay, so that is her ability, and we can see some of her stats and kind of what she's good at. So it says you can heal while on gens at the same time. You can speed up heals if someone revives or capture. She has 10 stealth and 10 composure. She also has 5 stamina and 5 speed, and can be interrupted during the capture process. Okay, so let me go ahead and kind of talk about this ability. Now, I don't really have that many cons, or I mean, not cons, something else of the, whatever, it was flaws of the ability too much yet. My biggest thing right now is that her ability does not warrant no 5-5 chase stats. Okay, I'ma just be honest with you guys. It does not warrant those chase stats at all. Okay, this ability seems pretty niche. Not even niche, but this ability seems pretty mediocre. Like, it has its uses and then it doesn't. But really, in all fairness, I don't think they should have went this route with her ability. But again, who knows? I'll play her perk out again, because I also play supports, and that is exactly what she is a support character. I also play supports on the side, so I'll play her out and then see kind of where I feel about it. But in a general sense, this ability seems like her stats are what's finna make or break her, like kind of heavy right now. I genuinely feel like that's why we haven't seen all her stats yet. Her stats are probably a work in progress too at the time when we had actually got her ability and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure for the like absolute most part that her stats are gonna really do something, because if she does not have good gen repair, and then has stats like that, her perk is only getting value 8 times. Maybe not even 8 times. Now, we do know that a survivor can speed up the heal. So I'm gonna assume that due to that factor, she's probably gonna have like probably 6 healing. So it'll do 50% of that, which is obviously half, because most of us know how to do math. It's obviously gonna be half, so it'll be 3 healing. Or she'll have 4 healing and it'll be 2. And then somebody else can come and speed it up. So yeah, I feel like what's genuinely make or breaking this character for the most part is going to be her gen repair. Her gen repair is going to, like, really mean something. And I say this because having 5/5 stats, aka the worst chase stats in the entire game, is really gonna be really gonna be hurting her. Because, mind you, she has 10 composure and 10 stealth. So they were obviously going the route of, she should be harder to find. But if you're found, it's kind of wraps. If there's no, like, good loops around, it's wraps for you. There's not really much that she can do. And then for her perk to be as, like, mediocre as it is genuinely extremely, extremely sad. Like genuinely really sad. And her perk seems like I don't know how to, like, really explain this. Her perk seems just really to be in a scary spot already. But again, I always got to take everything I say with a grain of salt, because we haven't played with the perk. So it's not everything I'm saying could be true, be real. And it's just, again, what I'm seeing and what we get on paper. Now, I still don't really feel like there would be much value out of her if her gen repair isn't good. Like, being able to heal while doing a gen is not something to just scoff at, okay? Like, it's not something to just brush off. Like, that's still really good, because every second in this game matters, okay? Every second in this game matters. But, genuinely, though, if her gen repair isn't that good, you're better off playing someone like Dakari over her. Like, genuinely, you just be better off playing Dakari over her. Now, again, I feel like her perk will still get some value, but I don't, and if her perk's got a cooldown on it, then that's that's just overkill at this point. I don't know. Again, we don't have her stats, so everything I'm saying can't be taken for sure, because they could change some of these things up. But I really hope they choose to go a completely different route with her, because the 10 stealth and 10 composure route, basically the stealth route with her, is not gonna cut it. This character is really gonna struggle I can already just feel it. It's just really gonna struggle. And I hope, but who knows? I'm gonna play her. Her perk seems fun, but in general, I don't feel like there's really, again, any need to really pick this perk over someone like Dakari, who basically does what she does. I wouldn't say basically. They kind of still are completely different. But, like, their whole idea is, like, anti-snowball. That's kind of their whole idea. So, and we already have Arlo and Day, which I do feel like she's beating out Day, but I don't know too much about Arlo when it comes to what the purpose of their job is to do. So, yeah. I don't have, again, too much to really say for her, because her perk doesn't seem that bad, but on top of that, we don't have her stats. So due to not having her stats, there's not that much I can say, other than the fact that we are still missing her heal speed and her gen repair. That's all we are missing. We have her speed and stamina, we have her stealth and composure, but again, her ability does not come close to warranting 5/5 stats. 5/5, really? For an ability like this? Yeah, it doesn't warrant it at all. Like, that's my only biggest complaint and gripe. But for the most part, it seems, when it comes to a meta standpoint, I don't feel like she's beating out her other contenders. It's not like gonna be like Dhanya, where Dhanya can come in and already kind of have a winning spot, because Dhanya is the only one who does the job that she does. While Maleficent's coming in here with 3 other people that do what she does, and she's only beating out one of them. So, I feel like she will have some more support. I feel like maybe she can support snowballs. If anything, I feel like that's probably where now that I think about it, that's probably where her placement in the meta is going to be, is a snowball supporter. She's going to support the anti-snowballers. She's supposed to be an anti-snowball supporter from the looks of it. Now that I'm genuinely thinking about this, it seems like that's where her entire perk is going. So it seems like we're getting 2 supports that are helping out other characters. She's supposed to help these anti-gen. That's okay. So I will say that it seems like she will have a spot in the meta, because pairing her with Dakari, or pairing her with Arlo, or pairing her with Day actually wouldn't be that bad. She's made to support them while also working on gens. So hey, never mind. I kind of take back a lot of the things I was saying, and I feel like she'll be pretty decently good. But the thing is I feel like her whole point is to mainly support them. So without them, her ability just kind of is just there. You're not getting complete value out of her. But I will say she does help against a lot of these snowball killers. So apostate or janitor, who else? Werewolf. Like, she helps against these, but the thing is that the snowball killers are by far the least played killers. So yeah, but I do change my mind about her spot in the meta, actually, and I do feel like she has a spot somewhere in there to help them. But for the most part, she's gonna be like Dhanya, where she's kind of useless without the ones that she's supporting. Like, she's just there strictly to help support the other ones. But yeah, y'all can make your opinions on her. Again, I'm not saying don't play her. If you want to play her, play her. Again, we still gotta test it out. I'm gonna test these characters out the way that they're supposed to be played. So I will be testing them out. I will be testing Dhanya out with Anais. I will be testing Melissa out with the other snowballers. Like, I'll be testing them out. But for the most part, I think what they were supposed to do, they instead ended up not being that, and instead they're going to be supporting what they thought they were going to be doing. Dhanya supports the anti-gen lockers, while Millicent supports the anti-snowballers. So yeah, that's all I really gotta say. That's for the most part all we have when it comes to these killers. And yeah, so y'all tell me in the comments what y'all think about these new survivors and who you're gonna be playing first when these survivors come out. So yeah, anyways, that's all I gotta say. So peace out, have a good day, and love y'all. Hopefully I'll get hot takes number 5 coming out soon. Yeah.